If I got disconnected, you know why.
All right. I know. Well, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, I'm keeping my finger crossed.
Me too.
Hi, Leslie.
Hey,
Hi.
Leslie.
Hey, guys.
How's it going? Oh,
It's
everybody's
going
chiming in
well.
one at a time. Hey, Chris. Hey, how's it going? So funny, like everybody gets dropped in and it's like, for a minute, like it's like loading. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Tuesdays are hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard. Tuesdays. But
Wednesdays are hard for me. It's the day after. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think, it's 5:30, so I guess I'm excited to hear about Leslie's your kids are here. You started your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think so far so good?
I can tell a huge difference between 6 and 9 kids. Our first 2 weeks, we did not have all of our children. We had a couple that were still traveling over the summer, and it was really wonderful, peaceful with six children and 3 caregivers. That was great. 9 is more challenging for sure. So, but it's good. It's going really well. One of the worst days, there was a little girl that was crying, and she was having trouble separating, but it was sort of I guess there had been sort of a honeymoon period where, for the first 2 weeks, she was fine at drop off. No trouble. And then it was the 3rd week where she had some difficulty, and she was crying, that really loud cry, and that we were acknowledging and inviting her to do different works, and nothing was working. And I'm like, I've been hearing this crying for like 2 hours now, and but I noticed from the other children, even a 10-month-old. Did I already tell you guys this?
I don't think we've talked to you since you started with the kids.
Oh, okay. Well, so I invited her. Eventually, she's just standing there, not doing any of the work. And I invited her to our peace corner, and so, I sat with her there, and there's all these cozy pillows and stuffed animals and books, and I said, maybe you'll feel better here. And slowly, several of the children in the class, including a 10-month-old, came over to her and gave her hugs and kisses. And even my 10-month-old came over, crawled over, and reached for her. And and I was like, it's terrible hearing this crying, but it warms my heart so much to see that they're just natural compassion. It was so sweet, and I was able to share with her mom. I said, Josie was really tearful today, but what I was able to observe was how warm and compassionate our community is, and it gave an opportunity for the other children to show her that they cared, and she was really touched by that, and she's done better. So
that's great.
It was really sweet.
That's a very nice story.
It was sweet. Mm-hmm. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. So things are going good so far. 2 people called in. I forgot already the area codes. Is that you, Anne?
I think Laura and Anne, I believe.
Yeah, is that
I'm
Laura?
717.
Yeah. All right.
Hi,
And that's you, Laura?
Hi. Yes.
Back to the phone. No more neighbor's driveway, huh?
Well, I just didn't feel like doing it today. No, I could. I just didn't feel like it. And by the time I got my daughter to bed, it was a little later than I wanted. So I just.
It's okay. I don't have a video. Well, I have a million, but I don't have one queued up. So.
Okay.
I know. I actually had this moment because I don't think that anybody's really had a chance to review the current module. or not really, right? I mean,
I didn't get it
I
either
watched
because of
almost all
my
the videos.
connection, internet connection. I couldn't even get into it.
oh no,
I'm happy that I could at least see you guys now.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that makes me feel good.
I
Actually,
know.
the sky is getting better. I feel so.
I watched some of the
Mercedes,
videos yesterday and today.
You did,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not that many of them.
They're
It's not too
long
bad.
ones,
It's
though.
not too heavy.
They are long.
There are a couple long ones, yeah. Well, they're only long because Vicky talks really slowly. Like, I feel like it doesn't cover a ton of content in each
Yeah.
video. She just talks really slowly.
She
She's
does,
very,
Yeah, she's very soft spoken actually.
yes, she's very soft-spoken and she talks slowly, which is nice because
Yeah.
you can take notes really easily if she's talking slowly.
Yeah, but slow but steady wins the race.
I had
That's what they
trouble
say.
understanding the video on transactional analysis. That one, I don't know why, it just kind of went over my head. Did you understand that
Yes, it was very,
one? It seemed a little disjointed.
she writes quite science, like this elegant scientific type of writing style. It can be hard to understand sometimes. Yeah, I'm going to have to review my notes to better understand it. And having a copy of that PowerPoint
Right.
would be really
I'm struggling to
helpful.
read it.
I know.
I've been like right clicking on the open video page and just printing the page.
Oh.
So like then I can have just like if that one
Yeah.
particular slide had good information, I'll pause it and then I'll print that page from like the
Good.
web page. But it still is hard to see because some of her pictures on the background of her slides make the words really hard to read.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Right, I'm missing words. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think her presentation is super rich and like very content heavy. And it would be, I mean, the pictures are really nice, but you gotta,
it's hard to read.
It's hard to read. So, but that's essentially kind of what Dabika was saying, was to take screenshots of the different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And some of them are a little bit easier to read once you print them because you don't have like the glare of the light from the computer and it, so it's kind of
Right,
easier.
right,
But it's
right.
it's still not perfect, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, because some of the charts she doesn't like fully go through the chart.
Right.
It's just there for you to look at while she's
pages.
talking, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And her little
Like
picture is covering part of it, so you can't read it.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yeah. I just wait for her to shrink her face down and then pause it and print it. I have some methods for
Smart lady.
but
Getting around it. Yeah.
I
She's a
know.
wealth
I
of
wonder
knowledge.
why we don't have any. I mean, I know you probably. Do you ever do do they send you evaluations for me and Dabika? Do you guys ever fill out like in structure
I haven't.
evaluations?
Mm-mm.
You would think that maybe you'll get one at the end of the course, but I would think that you would have, because after we do any I mean, I guess it would be the equivalent to a module, any subject, then we do a I mean, I don't know, I like constructive feedback, you know, I want to be responsive, and I think it's good practice to give.
Yeah.
well, I think we could send it anyways. Like we could just send something. Yeah, I mean, I don't want them to have to like redo Vicky's videos because I think, at least the ones that we've been having, because I think they are really good. But maybe if she still has those PowerPoints, she could take the pictures off the background so that you have all the words, and then they could just provide that as a supplement, like a supplemental printout for when, because most of the other videos where there's
like
PowerPoint, they have a PDF that you can print for your album, but not these ones. These are like the only ones that we don't have access to.
Well, I know I went through and graded module 6, right? That's the one we just finished over the weekend, and I still, one of my goals is still to go through as much as you guys are producing. It's a pretty big, not to be complaining or whatever, but there's a lot. There's a lot. You generate a lot of content, and I want to be thoughtful with it. But honestly, like I I've been trying to, and this module notwithstanding, because I don't know what happened. I feel like there was a lot. Hey, Casey. There was, and Dabika and I did, I had a meeting with CGMS, like we have a meeting once a month, and I did pass along all of your feedback about the way that the summer kind of is structured and went, and I think that it was all really good feedback, especially about the placement of practicum prep and like how the course fits together. But I feel like in a lot of ways, this was the lost module. Like everything was so disjointed, and I had a hard time keeping up with everybody on the, like I would post on the board and then like 4 new posts would come in. So I think that all of that, it just makes module 6 really challenging. It's almost like a self, like a self like you,
Yeah.
like, you
Independent study.
It was a bit of a strange conglomeration of topics too. Like it just felt like the nutrition and then the behavioral theorists.
They're like,
and
let's
I was
tuck
like,
this in here, and because and I can see how nutrition and behavior kind of like correlate, but at the same time.
But when we talked about the theorists, they didn't talk anything about nutrition, like as far as I don't know.
Well, and
they had to get it in there, right?
And that made it more complicated to keep up with the discussion boards because people would be posting at different times depending on their personal schedule, and that was weird. Week was kind of different. So it just, I think we'll end on a high note, right? Because here we are, module 7. Although I was so excited because the topic is like leadership, and I'm so pumped to talk with you guys about leadership, and like I'm all excited about this. And then the first week is all to the theory.
Not leadership.
No.
Yes, it's more theorists. I thought we were done with that. I was confused. I was like, wait, there's more? Okay.
No more theorists. I've never heard of transactional
analysis
theory. Have you heard about it before?
I feel like it's serve and return. Like it's kind of along the same lines. Like a transaction takes place between 2 people, and I guess that guy did a lot of analyzing those types of things. Like what happens when transactions don't happen? What happens when they do happen? What do we do to get them to happen if they're not occurring naturally, which is like the games we play? I think I'm understanding this.
No, it just seems really complicated. Like, why do you when you have to invent a whole new language to describe what you're talking about? We're done. We're done here. I just like, and I feel like Montessori does a fair amount of that. And I'm constantly apologizing for, like in the understanding the human being. What the heck is homo faber? Like, do an internet search. None of those. Those are nothing. That's not. That is like no. We wanna be able to speak. That's part of the divide that Montessori has with the with traditional education, is that we don't speak the same language, and in so many ways we do get left out of the table because we're talking about like sensitive periods and planes of development, and like there are terms in current early childhood education that kind of describe what we're saying, and we need to learn those terms, and we need to so let's talk about windows of opportunity. Let's talk we're all talking about the same thing. We need to be able to speak the same language,
right?
So
you need to write a book, Mercedes. Translate it.
Yeah, it'll be like Montessorianese or Montessori terminology for dummies. You can write one.
Someday you guys will do that.
Yeah.
No, Mercedes.
But one thing I would mention that when I read those the postings that they do, I'm really amazed at how they are internalizing it, and then they're using their own language, and I really love it. Each and every one, their postings are so good. I love it.
You talking about these guys here?
Yes, I'm talking about these ladies. Don't you feel they are very smart? They are doing it because I'm doing this teaching for many, many years. I have seen the teachers, but these are the very good group that
I don't.
That's
They're really, the writings are so good.
Yeah,
it's very good.
well, and I think
That's
too
nice to hear.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And it's very nice to read too, when you are, with all this hard work we are doing all together, CGMS is doing, and you guys are absorbing it, internalizing it, and then you are expressing it. And I can bet that you will be able to apply it in your classroom with your children.
I think
That's
we've
the most
learned a lot.
important thing. That's the accomplishment that we are having,
Sometimes I'm afraid that the things that I write down only make sense inside my head. So it's good to know that it
whatever makes sense in your head, it comes from your heart.
Yeah.
Or then I read somebody else's post and I'm like, maybe I didn't understand that. Because I did not, but the other person is like, oh yeah, that makes sense too. But then I'm like, I don't know, maybe I didn't.
But at the same time, it gives you to think in the other way too, right? It helps you to think.
I try not to read anybody else's post until after I post it, because then I don't, like, the first little bit I did that. I read other people's posts and then I was like, oh, that makes sense, but I can't copy that. And I can't, how do I put it in my own words? So now I'm like, now I don't read anybody else's post until I post. And then I read it and then I'm like, oh, yeah, I think I totally missed that.
You got to be the first to post, Chris, and then everybody will just look like
that's your strategy, Laura.
Right.
You're always the first.
Laura,
I tried. You beat me this week. You already posted one. I was like, crap.
That's a first.
I can't get it together to be the first poster.
No, but I have.
I don't know.
So
I just
from you guys.
I crank mine out really quickly. Like I get the work done like I have to keep my life in order. So. It's not because I'm an overachiever. It's just because I got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, my freer days are like Thursday and Friday. So I like my more packed days are the beginning of the week. So.
Oh, yeah. That would make it hard.
But you guys are doing a good job.
That's okay.
You're paving the way. You're just starting to lead the discussions.
Well, I feel like when I have a coworker that did her primary training through CGMS a couple years ago, and we were talking about it when I was going to start this, and she's like, oh, like half the people in your group are going to drop out before midway. And I feel like we haven't lost anyone, have we? I didn't think we did, unless I missed someone.
There's people on our list, but that I've never seen, and I know that I'm kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, well.
No,
maybe I've never seen them either.
They drop because of that reason. There are many other reasons they drop because of their family situation, financial situation.
But I'm just glad we've kept. I'm just glad almost everyone has stuck with it.
It's true.
Yeah.
And we got a bonus, Shelby, the the home stretch assist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I kind of fell back from my group, but I'm still hanging on. I'm going to finish.
Good. Well, I really want all of you. I mean, it goes without saying, but I'll say it. But I really want all of you to finish. And you've come so far at this point. And I mean, like,
only 6 more weeks.
They are almost done.
I know. You're so
good. 6 weeks of content.
Well, and then 4 more weeks for me, right? Because I don't have the early childhood.
So how do you know
What is that exactly?
If you do not have your Montessori credential for 3 to 6, then you have to take the early childhood overview.
So
I thought it was if you didn't have the early childhood degree in college, like the early childhood bachelor's degree.
No, you gotta
doesn't
have
matter.
the Montessori
Actually, early childhood is a different sensitive period. So, and when you are training those children from infant toddler section, that's a different level of development. So if you have some knowledge of what they are going to do in early childhood classroom, it will help you to, set up the curriculum for the children and how to, interact with them, all these things. That's why it is very important that you have some overview of the early childhood level. That's the reason.
Do you know if we have to continue? Oh, sorry.
The early childhood overview, it's not on the exam because it's after the exams. It's in like February, right?
It's
I
a
think.
MACD. It's a MACD
MACD requirement. It's
And
a
so
MACD requirement, yeah.
anyone who does not have their early childhood credential, their 3 to 6 credential, has to take the overview. And it's less about, like, when I took it, it was less about, like, there was a little bit of child development, but it was mostly about the curriculum. So so that's why, you know, Chris has the early childhood credential. Rashani, do you have it too?
I have
So if you have it, then you don't have to take it, because it's curriculum heavy. You go.
Can we take the exam before?
I think so.
And do we have
Yeah,
to continue
I'm pretty
our
sure.
weekly assignments during that time?
It says
The early
online that
childhood
the
overview-
early childhood, yeah.
It's after. It's it's almost like a separate course. You need it to get your credential, but you don't, like, there won't be. What did Terry just responded to? Casey had a query about it, and it's like 4 weeks, and there's like you know, a couple videos and a post a week. So it's not, you don't have to keep doing your practicum or your weekly any of that stuff. It's very light. And honestly, I have to say that it was a really powerful experience for me, especially because, and my first experience in Montessori was with the 3 to 6 year olds, but I didn't know about the curriculum. It's, if I have 9 months someday in my life, then I will take the early childhood training. Like I actually think that I would take the AMI training because it's here in Portland, and because it just for fun, because it's such a cool. The curriculum at that level is pretty mind-blowing, I think. The thought that she put into the didactic materials, you know, that they're like, when my and it was the first thing that I did. I got to training and I took the early childhood overviews. So I did it before I took the infant toddler credential. And when she gave the presentation for the trinomial cube, like I literally like wept, like got tears, like of just, it was so powerful. For me anyway. So I know that, you know, it sounds like another requirement, but I hope that you will embrace it because it's really special. It's a special,
and you'll love it, believe me, when you see how to manipulate the materials and what is the purpose of those materials, what means actually meaningful activities. You will love it with those materials.
Well, and
Because
it
you will
kind of
know
shows
the direct aim, indirect aim, and also point of interest, all these things, and then what is actually the materials are helping them, the children, to get ready for the elementary level. It's so sequential. You will love it, especially the sensorial math. They're wonderful, wonderful. I love it.
It is.
And
it's
what's 4 weeks after a year and a half? I mean, what's 4 more weeks,
really,
right?
it's a cakewalk. It's just so easy. Yeah, you barely even have to do anything. Yeah, no, I know. So, is there some sort of a graduation or some kind of does CGMS have something that they do, or do you guys? Will you celebrate? What will you guys do?
I told everybody I want a party.
Just
I'm
trying
like,
to
you better
get
throw me
there.
a party.
Oh yeah, I'm celebrating. I just don't know how it's happening.
Good. Yeah. It's a good, you know, while gifts are never required, they're always appreciated. So that's a good, I think having a party is.
I'm going to get a raise.
Yay. Are you really?
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
Good for
I
you.
got my raise.
Yay. Wendy's getting a raise.
We're going to sit
That's
down
good.
with my head of school and figure it out, because I'll actually be the only person that has a dual Montessori certificate. And so she's like, we have to recreate the pay scale. So
by next June, I'll have gotten a $400 pay raise.
And
like
then
my
I'm
boss is doing it in increments, so that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
I have a friend that works at the nurturing center here, which is like the people that do the STARS program and what is that? All the state requirements and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to work with her in teaching a little bit about like the Montessori approach versus the other, you know, because she's like, oh, I've been telling her a lot about it, and she's like, I want you to come to one of my classes and be like a Montessori approach to some of the things. So I'm excited to visit with her more about that. But,
that's great. I think that anytime that we can talk to people doing traditional childcare, like I always like, you know, somebody they called me from the OA, from like the NAAYC affiliate in Oregon, and asked if we would be if they could bring a preschool tour through to look at our school, and especially because our outdoor environment's really cool, and whether it's Montessori or not Montessori, and so like I think it's great. Like, of course, we want to be able to, anytime we can share with people doing traditional education, anytime we can go, even like anything that is like an alternative pedagogy, like people doing Reggio or Waldorf, even like going out to seeing what other people are doing can also be really helpful, because we're in a bubble, and it's really hard to branch out. Like, I mean, I'm the first one to admit, you know, I get Montessori magazines. I don't get, you know, so that's awesome. How did you make that connection?
She's my really good friend. I've been friends with her for a long time. She tried to actually get me to come over there to work for her. And I was like, well, you don't have any Montessori things. And she's like, I can't offer you anything like that, because they offer a bunch of the continuing education classes and stuff that we need for our state certifications. Mm-hmm. So, and I was like, I can't, I mean, I took some of her classes, but I was like, you have no Montessori classes. Mm-hmm. So, and she's actually our representative for our STARS program for our school. And so she's been working with us a lot on like STARS won't let you have potty chairs, or and state regulations say that you're not supposed to have potty chairs, and you're supposed to have a block center, and you're supposed to have a this center and a that center, and like going through our school and showing her like what our materials are and what they are equivalent to. Yeah. So she's working on her master's actually in early childhood education, and so it's been pretty neat too. And then we get together, like we went and did the Parade of Homes the other day or last weekend, and so we talked about her classes versus my classes and what they were talking about on how they introduced potty training and that kind of stuff for toilet learning, and how hers does. And so she's pretty open to it, and she's like, I really want to take the Montessori. But yeah, she's very open to a lot of stuff, and so I'm just friends with her. So that's how I kind of been connected with her. And then we have another friend in that group that actually worked for her, but went out on her own and opened a daycare. And so she's like, could you come and show me what I can do for the infants? You know, I'm trying to figure out what to do for the little infants, and I know you're supposed to like do books, but I'm not sure how. And she's like, I know that there's some Montessori materials that you, or how the mobiles. And I was like, yeah, I could come and talk to you about that. So, yeah. So yes, but
building bridges.
Exciting. Yeah. Yeah. I'm exploring my avenues, so that way I really love Woodland Montessori, but our boss, or the lady that owns it, is like in her 70s, and this year she has gone back to 2 days a week, and she's training somebody else to take her position. So I'm like, what happens if she's gone? Like, so what I'm trying to do is put my feelers out for other positions and make sure that I have other career opportunities. That way I'm not, I mean, I don't think they would ever close the school, but I've already been through one where I was at a school that had a Montessori program, a Montessori-like program, and I was in charge of the Montessori 3 to 6-year-old class. And then our director retired, and they hired a new director, and then she was like, nope, I'm going to go through I'm going to do it this way. And she actually went through the Montessori training, the 3 to 6-year-old training, and I was her mentoring teacher. And she was like, no, we're not going to do it that way. I don't agree with that. And I was like, ah. So I argued with her for about 2.5 years. And then finally I was like, I had actually went to my boss, who is my boss now, and said, what can I do? Like, how can I help this program stay afloat? And like, how can I help her understand?
She's like, forget them, come work for me.
Yeah, she's like, Chris, you're never going to change her mind, because she was actually going through training with my boss. And she was like, you're never going to change your mind. I see you're very frustrated, like you need to get out. And so I left and became a nanny for a couple of years, and then went to Sally and said, I need a job. So yeah.
Lisa, have you ever thought of opening your own program?
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Because you are going to complete your second training, right? So
yeah.
And you have how many years experience? 10 years?
A long time.
So I think if you are spiritually prepared for it, then you should have your own program. Start with a small number of children.
I don't want to be married to something. I want to be able to go away and be like, because
you can still go away. You can still go away if you want to. Depends on, how much you want to do. What is your goal? Is your goal to be a successful Montessori, teacher, or you want to make money? Because the teachers don't make that much of money.
No.
Okay. So, if you, all my life I worked and I didn't make that much of money.
Yeah.
So, but that's two different things. If you are, spiritually prepared for it.
Maybe someday when my kids, Alyssa's in 8th grade. Brittany's trying to graduate with her associates. She's still living at home. So she'll be gone next year, and Alyssa will be in high school maybe someday. I do have, I have thoughts and plans.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen overnight. You have to have, you have to think about it, and then you have to plan for it and start collecting the stuff that you will need to open a program. And
I have a whole storage shed.
Good.
I think
you.
There are other options too. Like our school is part of a whole cluster of schools called Metro Montessori, and we just opened a consulting division. So many of our teachers are interested in becoming consultants, and
see, that's that's what part of the nurturing center does too. That's what Cindy, my friend, does, is goes around to other child cares and is a mentor for them and says, okay, you're struggling with this, like these are my suggestions, what if you tried this?
Right.
So, and then I love CGMS, don't get me wrong, but my school is a training center. So we are a 3 to 6-year-old training center and an early elementary training center. So I could teach in that program too. I could teach the 3 to 6-year-old, and I taught part of the movement and music portion of it once, and so I could do that too. And then we have an elementary school. The people that own our early childhood school owned the elementary school, but then they hired a board to run it because they're in their 70s. And so they still own the land and the school, the building, but a board runs it now. So, yeah.
I know there's a lot of board run schools that are great. I think that any one of you is very capable of having your own program. I think that, you're all parents, you all work full time, and you're all doing this program, which is really rigorous. And so I know that you could all run a school.
Yeah.
I have no doubt, any one of you. And I loved having a school in my home. And I think that, if you're even a little bit considering doing something on your own, that would be where I would recommend starting, is just your house. So that's
I have a question.
Great.
How does the finals work? The exam.
Tabika, how do the exams work?
How does the exam works? I have no idea.
What do you mean?
I have no idea.
There's a checklist
Check
for
with
eligibility
Terry,
for
because
the exam.
check
right?
with Terry.
So do you have a certain time limit to like you start your test and then you have a certain time limit to complete them? I don't know.
I don't really, to be very honest, I don't want to say something which I don't know.
Okay.
So it's better check with Terry, directly write her, and she will give you a response. And you can put it in the, the community forum and she'll answer it right away. That will be the best way. And we will learn from that too.
Yeah. Well, Terry and I are supposed to talk too. I think that putting your query into the community forum is a great place to do it. Have you looked in the green book about what it says about exams? Because I found that is pretty comprehensive.
I can hear you.
I looked at it a long time ago, but I haven't looked at it since. That was a long time ago when I went, oh, that test is a long ways away. Now I'm like, it's here.
I feel like I can you guys are one, or like what resource we can have for that. Like I know we have.
Okay.
I think before then there's some review study, but I don't know. Can we use our materials or?
Well, this is what it says. Yeah, this is what it says in the green book. It says that your exams will be broken down into 3 separate parts, although you don't have to take them in any particular order. Part 1 is your original material making project. This is a multi-step project first introduced in Module 6. It asks you to observe children and identify a need, then create an environmental support and material or activity response. Okay, so I saw that in the nested in module 7, it says that your original material making is due at the end of this module. So it says that you have to fill out the form and take a video of yourself using the material, including footage of where you would place your material on the shelf and allude to how it fits into the sequence of other opportunities available in your classroom. And I guess we'll give you some additional instructions and support because that's what it says in the green book. Okay. Was this talked about at all at your residential? No. Okay. No. Then part 2 is a written test. It says that you get review questions. It says that you will be able to use the work that you've generated yourself throughout the course, such as your MPIS review paper, the Absorbent Mind Study Companion, Nutrition and Theories, charts, and so on. And then it tells you how to read it or to review a couple videos. Some questions on the exam will be short essay questions. Some will be short answers and others will be matching theorists to their theories or biological terms to their definitions. The test is open book, but it's also timed. You have up to 4 hours to complete each section, although we do not expect it to take that long. The test has been broken up into 2 parts, and you may take the test all in one day, or you can break them up into 2 separate sections. When you feel that you're ready, you schedule a time for your IG to open the exam for you, and your completed exam should then be turned into the Dropbox provided in the section of the course with the allotted time. So it sounds like there's some flexibility there. We'll get some questions. I'll follow up with Terry about where the review questions are and what additional support we're going to give you with the original material making. Okay.
And is there an eligibility checklist for being eligible to take the exam?
Yeah.
There's certain things we have to complete before we're eligible, right?
Yes. And I know that you sent me an email, Leslie, about where you were, and I graded module 6. So that's good. That's the good news.
Progress.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the exam eligibility chart right now. It has all the demonstration videos that you're supposed to have uploaded, your practicum, portfolio journal, your albums, your case study observations, parent conference observations at other levels, and then all the modules need to be complete, and the residential, and practicum self-evaluations.
Right. So you have to have your residential session done. Wait.
Yeah, for your full credential, you do. So, but if you're doing
but not to take your exam, right?
Well, you're not. In your case, Laura, you're gonna get an associate credential, right?
Well, no. I was under the understanding that after you complete the coursework and take your finals, you have up to 3 years to complete the residency training. And if you don't complete it within those 3 years, you have to take a refresher course.
Okay.
Right.
Well, there's two different certificates that CMS offers. One certificate is the MACD credentialed certificate that you get if you attended the residence, and the other one is like a associate. It's not a full credential. That's what they call the MACD.
Yes, I know that. So maybe I just won't.
I would think that if you would take the exam and then CGMS would give you like the associate credential, and then once you do your residency, you would get the full credential. But that's what I'm thinking. Sure, with Terry, that's some version of that is probably what. Do you know what I'm saying? Some version of that.
Okay.
What's going to happen?
Because I definitely want to be able to take the exam.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one of us that hasn't done our residency either. So.
Yeah, I'm only doing the associate one too, because there's no way I can go to the residential right now.
Say that. Sorry, Rashani.
You will do it in future, right?
Yeah. The thing is, right now for this year and next year, there's no way I can go to the residential.
Go to residential. Yeah.
So I'm only doing the associate right now.
Yeah. There's another part to your exams, and everything that I'm reading you is from the Green Book. But the third part is an online video simulation of traditional oral exams, and then it basically you're going to schedule a time to meet with either Dabika or I. And we're going to record the schedule and submit it to the Moodle Dropbox. And it says that your IG will propose several scenarios. They'll give the age of the child as well as some background information and ask about the appropriate materials, activities, or lessons that, or responses that might meet a child's needs. For example, you're in an infant classroom. You may be told that a baby is 3 months old and enjoys laying on their work mat and is just starting to swipe at things nearby. The question might ask you to show what kinds of environmental supports you would supply to this child. So you would walk to the place in your classroom and show where these are kept, and then show how you might offer them to the child.
So you have to be in the environment on that day?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it has to be on a weekend then.
Well, or I'm on the West Coast, so you could get up early.
The environment.
Oh, you're on the West Coast too. Yeah, so you could stay late or whatever.
Yeah.
Or get up early, right? Because she'll be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, her time, 5 o'clock your time. Okay, well, that seems pretty straightforward. I do have some questions, though, I think that we need to clarify with Terry, such as what additional information do you get about your original material making project? And then the other one is, what did she say? There was another question I had. I guess the good news, though, is that you get to use it's like the written test is 4 hours, and you get to use all your notes and your books. I don't think that any of you will have a hard time answering.
So if we fail, we're not going to fail. Is that what you're saying?
Nobody here is going to fail.
I can tell you that from your postings,
no,
you guys already know what you are doing. So that's the most important thing. And you have 4 hours, just think.
It's an eternity.
And you can break it into half, right? 2 hours and 2 hours, they can do that?
That's what it says.
Yeah, so if you can break it, then do whatever you can do within that 2 hours and then leave it for the next hours. And then you think about it, read it, and then come back again and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's open, right?
That's what it says.
Yeah,
I would be shocked.
So you guys will be fine. Believe me, you will be fine. I'm not worried at all. I know they can do it.
I'm just technology not very good.
Me either, believe me. So we can work
Something that should be really easy, like downloading a video, does not work. I still have to download my videos. I have to figure out a way to
Same thing
download
with me. Same thing. Don't worry. We can still work.
Mercedes.
Yes.
I put. So I remember I talked to you about my healthy snack prep video, and it was like way too big. It wouldn't fit on the noodle. So I did post it
on YouTube.
I did put it in the Dropbox, and it's on YouTube. Is that okay? Like,
yeah, I mean.
And then in the community corner, I posted the link for other people to watch it if they wanted to.
Let me look at the exam eligibility chart again and see, because basically it's just asking for the instructional guide to verify that they've seen these things. So Dabika and I are signing off on them. So I don't see any reason why I can't use that to sign off on it. So Dabika and I divvy up the grading requirements for the cohort. And so I would assume that your oral exam, like the Leslie and Laura and Eugenia and Kathy and Anne. So I would do your oral exam. And I'm going to assume also, but I
think I will do Casey, Reed, Wendy, Shelby, Rashani, and who else?
You have one more.
One more. Oh, I know. Natalia.
Yes, I know. We haven't heard from her in a while.
Yeah, no, she was very sick. So.
Oh, well, not good.
She's trying to catch up. Yeah, she was not feeling well, but she started, again, putting the posting and stuff. She has a lot of things to catch up with. And a lot of you are missing very little stuff in different modules. So please post them so that I can grade them. I really hate to put 0. So I'm just holding it as much as I can.
Terry told us to put 0, Dabika.
Yeah, I know Terry does. She did tell me to put 0, but I don't like to put 0.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, so.
But as far as the demonstration videos go, Terry specifically told me at one point, like, as long as you get them done by the end of the course, that's fine. But that's just the videos. I like the demonstration videos, because I am missing one of them. But she specifically said as long as it's done by the end of the course, that's okay.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking the module. Like some people still are missing work in module 3 or module 4 or module 2. And so
all of that work has to be completed before you take your
and it is very little. Like you did all the work, only you're missing one discussion post.
Mm-hmm.
I have a journal post. I have a journal post. I need to post it in module 5.
That's kind of very small things, but if you and we are almost done, so I have to really grade them. And time when she said, "No, this is the last day, Dabika, you have to grade it," I will have no choice. I have to put 0. That's why every month I'm trying to send you guys a reminder note that you guys are missing this part individually. I'm writing it to them. So.
Oh, good. So
is
you
there
would tell
somewhere?
us if we're missing something?
Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Is there somewhere we could look on there on the Moodle where if we're missing something? Is there?
I actually what I did for each of you, I started from module 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that, and I said you're missing week so and so, week 3 or 4, you're missing this, like that. I made a chart for each one and I'm sending it. So please read the emails.
So if I read your email, then that's all that was on there. Okay.
If it is not, I will give you a reminder, because that's the only, when I'm writing that note, that means I'm not grading that part. Rest of them I already graded.
Okay, I'm on it.
Okay, guys. Also, if you're logged in, and like you click on module 6 and you go to your activity report and go to the outline report,
Yes.
it will
Activity
show
and then
you.
outline.
Yes.
Yeah, it will show you what you viewed and your grade if it's been put in there already, and like in the assignment, or I mean in the discussion forum, how many posts you did,
Exactly.
and like, yeah, because I used to print them out and like highlight them when I did them, and I was wasting tons and tons and tons of paper. So I started just keeping this, and every time then I watch the video, it shows to me I did 1 view, 2 views, whatever.
And that's exactly what Dabika and I see when we grade your posts and your viewing. So
and
if you have any
I'm not doing the assignment yet. I didn't do this. Did you do all the assignments? I didn't do it. I'm just doing the, the video viewing, then discussion and journal, and the attendance. A lot of people are missing attendance, so I checked with Ferry whether I can use those flex weeks for makeup. So that's what I'm doing. If you are attending, you have attended in flex weeks, and you're missing some of the weeks for attendance, I just put it there, so you got the grade. That's how I'm working on it. So
yeah. I added a lot of attendance this weekend too, Dabika, based on my notes. So I went back and added.
Good for me.
Yeah, thank you. And then if anyone has any questions about regardless of whether I grade your work or not, I'm happy to do a Zoom meeting and share my screen with you and show you how to find the activity reports that Anna's talking about. It's really easy to track the work that you've done.
You just go to the participants and then click when your name comes, you just click on it. And then when you go there, go for your activity report, and there you will have your outline report and complete report. And if you go to the complete report, even you can see who has graded you, how much you got, everything.
Yeah, so I'm happy to go over that with you if you want to email me.
Yeah, because I've never really looked at that, and I know that you guys were like, the grades are in, and I'm like, I don't know where to find those.
please look at it.
It's on the sidebar.
I'll go into it.
Yeah, and send me emails. That's the best. And I will definitely and when you email me, send your telephone number also, so I can call you and I can talk to you. Whichever way we can complete this grading process, we can do it.
We got this.
And you will see the date that we are, whenever Mercedes and me, we are grading you, there is a date, that date we graded you. You'll see.
Yeah. No, it's great. Any other questions about exams or the course? Or we've got about 7 minutes. I haven't heard a lot from Wendy or Kathy or Shelby or Casey. Ann, anybody?
Hi guys, I'm sorry that I was late. I had my the preschool side posted a like a parent like Montessori 101 class, and my daughter's in the preschool, so I wanted to be a part of that.
Oh, good.
And it went until 6:30 Montana time, which is when I log on here for you guys. So kind of feeling a little frazzled. I've been running, trying to get home and get dinner going. So I've been listening. Sorry, I haven't been participating very much tonight.
Do you have any question?
I don't know. I don't think so. Hearing
regarding your missing work or grading.
No, I understand all that. I'm in the process of trying to get my computer fixed. So these flex weeks and the break weeks have been really helpful to not have to do anything quite yet. But yeah, and I've got everything that all my missing work.
That's good. My husband is working on my internet connection right now. That's why I'm still working.
Yeah.
With you guys. That happens.
Mercedes, I think I didn't look to see if we circled back to that question about that one journal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't know if you emailed. Like, I haven't followed back to it. So if you didn't find anything out, that's fine.
I was just gonna look at it. Do you want to? Because no one else brought that up, and so I was gonna go back and and kind of dig into it. I guess the prompt for one of the journals was the same, was a duplicate. Is that that's basically what you had said?
Right? Yeah. So the journal prompt in the learning and cognition theory is the same. It's Cal 37, which we also did in nutrition. Passage from the Tao, that you wanted us to reflect on or whatever, that's fine too. I just, like I said, I did not even look to see if we had gotten any resolution on that or not.
No, thank you for bringing that back to my attention. Go ahead, Laura.
I feel like I recall, is this journal like one for module 7? Is it for this week?
No, it was
so
for module 6.
It's the older one. Yeah, I recall having a I remember one of them was a repeat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just remember it. That's all I had to say.
Okay.
So, I mean, did you just find something different to talk about in that next one, or in the
Yeah, I'd have to look at it. I don't entirely remember what I wrote, but I feel like it just pertains differently to the material that we were talking about at that point versus the last time that I heard it. But.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I would imagine as well. So if there's something kind of, that's more relevant to the material that is, like that we would think of things a little bit differently depending on what our perspective is. So I don't know. I would say, if you can answer it as it pertains to the module that we're working on, or the week, and
okay, yeah, that's fine.
And you guys can see each other's right, it's the journal that we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, you could maybe go see what other people wrote and see if any of that resonates, or just, I don't know, I feel like you can get creative. You can bounce off of other people's what other people said, maybe, if that resonates with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you guys being so patient with me.
I had a quick question about, this is about like the residency training. So what did most people do? Like, where did you stay when you went someplace? Like, do a bunch of people like rent a Airbnb together, or?
So I got
how do people
fantastic Airbnb. I think only me and one other person in our residency did it. But I had like the whole basement of these people's house, and I had my own private entrance with like a keypad. I could set the combination like with my cell phone.
Okay.
And I had like a little kitchenette, and it was like less than half the price of what the hotels in the area were going to be.
Which residency did you do?
Chantilly, Virginia.
Did you go to Chantilly? Oh, I would be interested to get the information on the Airbnb that you used, because I'm going to do the Virginia one.
Who's talking? I'm sorry, I can't see you.
It's Laura.
It's Laura. Sorry, it's Laura.
Okay. I'll see if I can get your email through the Moodle. And
yeah, it is on there. It is on
there. Staff members did Chantilly residency this summer, and she didn't stay at the same one as me, but she stayed in one that was similar in the price range, and she had a pretty good experience. But we just only stayed, like, she took her kids with her, and like her cousin or somebody. I did not take my kids.
Oh no, I won't be taking anybody.
Yeah, no, I can't. I honestly can't imagine doing it. I was so exhausted. But anyway, but then a lot of people did like split hotels too.
Your kids are older though.
Okay. But my kids are older. We played a lot, but I went to Florida and I rented an RV.
Yeah, Florida's a little too far for me. Plus, I don't want to fly, so I have to be able to drive. But yeah, and I'm broke.
Well, they'll help you put it together, though. Yeah. Well, I mean,
don't you get a list? Don't you? There's a thing where you can contact other people in your that are going to your residence.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
Then you could connect with them and see if you can do it together. I remember.
Okay.
Because I knew Casey was going with me.
Yeah, when I went, I drove on my own, but there were a lot of people who were not able to drive. I think you said you wanted to drive, but there are people who shared places together, people who shared rental cars together.
Oh, okay.
Laura
I
is
just wish they would have one in New York.
Yeah, she's very far. Laura, when you were here, let me ask you one question regarding the observation in October. So I just wanted to know that, we need to finish with the observation. So just let me know what will be the best date.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to email you this week to
Please.
set that up.
Give me a couple of dates so that I can take my schedule and we can plan something.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep. So is that Shelby?
I said I think I also need to have observation.
You need to have observation. That has to be remote, right?
Where are you?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
I can do the remote from here.
Let's email Elaine and Terry and who did your other observations?
Who is your
I had a field consultant who came out and did observations, but I was pretty sure my IG was supposed to also view my classroom and meet with me like monthly about video chats and things like that. And she was never able to look at my classroom. I don't really know. You guys know better than I do. I had a field consultant that came out and wrote up observations about me, so maybe that's enough.
When we do the field consultant, we go there. That's the field consultancy. We go there like I did with Laura.
Yeah, I think you get that.
And I had that.
Submit the report. And
so
now that Laura is too far, I don't. I'm not supposed to go there because it will be very, expensive. So I'm going to do the remote observation for her and also.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Let's follow up. I'm going to follow up with the email. All right.
Because you need how many? 3?
3. Yeah, you need 3. And I don't know. I mean, I'm the practicum advisor for several adult learners in this cohort, and so I've been doing. I feel like that's the person who's supposed to be connecting with you monthly, like, because that's kind of what. I mean, I would be happy to meet with any of you as your instructional guide, but those ritualized reports and observations I do with the people who are. That I'm their practicum advisor.
Okay.
And so
yeah, but she already has a field consultant who already visited her, and she already set up some goals for you.
Right.
So
it's
my understanding is that she's going to do the remote visit. Is she close by you? Is she in South Carolina or she's coming from where?
I'm finished. I think I did all that last year. I think I'm finished with that.
3 of them?
We'll follow up. We'll follow up with an email.
What is that you're talking about, Mercedes? A practicum
advisor?
Field consultant.
I don't know.
Internship.
Okay. I don't think I've ever talked.
Elaine is probably your practicum advisor.
Okay.
So is my guess.
Okay.
I know she's been busy, but I could only help her so much.
That's okay. I'm just I don't want to miss anything. So.
No, I think it's Elaine.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're at 6:30. Wendy, I never hear enough from you. I miss you. Let's talk.
I've just been listening and trying to take it all in. Okay.
All right. Well, I want to hear when Leslie was telling her story about the little 10-month-old that was so sweet and compassionate. I thought about the little child who fell asleep on your shoulder and the little girl who was so kind to him. And it's so wonderful that we have. And is he still crying?
No.
Yay. Okay.
He finally started doing some work.
Yay. Yay.
And participating and joining in. Once in a while, I'll see him. He just kind of lays down on the rug and sucks his thumb for a little bit. But he'll get up and start doing some more work. So, and he's talking to me now. And
yay! That's so great. Well, hooray for no crying.
Yes. Yeah, because it was like all morning long.
Oh yeah,
for like 3 or 4 weeks.
I know.
Well, it's like, just stop.
Yeah, no, I think we can all relate to that. So, all right. Well, so next week we'll have a little more content. We'll talk about the theorists or whatever, and I'm just excited to dig into the leadership part because that's I have a lot of. No, I am. I know
get there.
you guys are like, oh, it's gonna be the most boring, but I promise I'll make
Oh
it fun.
no, Mercedes, I'm so excited.
Yay!
What I'm most excited for is because I am such a follower. I need leadership advice. I do. I would
Awesome.
I'm so
Me
excited.
too.
Yay. Okay. Well, we're going to kick this module and it's took us. All right. Okay. You guys have a great week. And
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye,
let's
guys.
talk.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.